Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. I want to ask you, what do you wish you had said on last week's show, but you didn't? Joe Mavretic, I'll start with you.
Well, when we were talking about hurricane relief, I wanted to speak a little bit about the town of Princeville. I represented Princeville for 15 years in the General Assembly, and now have watched that town be inundated twice by the Tar River. And what I wish would happen is I wish that there would be funding to relocate all the people who used to live in Princeville and create a historic district of that town, to create a historic park with appropriate markers, to take some of the levee material and build a big hill, and on top of it have a place where visitors and tourists can go to see videos, to see historical items, and to have picnic tables covered by roofs that represent the height of flood waters in the past. And I think with big signs on I-95 that say, come and see the first established minority community in America. And I wish that that would happen, and I hope that Princeville is not rebuilt and flooded and put out of business again.
Yeah. Chris, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
Well, we talked about the special session, and I'm really alarmed that we're turning Raleigh into Washington, and everybody talks about how much they don't like Congress, and I feel like that we're turning the General Assembly and the political climate in Raleigh just like the toxic one that's in Congress now. And you know, it used to be you could disagree with a lot the General Assembly did, Republicans and Democrats, but I felt like there was a shot that you had a chance as a citizen, an advocate, a lobbyist, even a lawmaker to have some input in what was happening. And what was so disturbing about what happened last week is that bills were introduced that the leadership wanted introduced. Nobody knew they were coming. There wasn't, obviously there wasn't time to have hearings when there were proposals to rewrite the massive elections machinery and how we do IT and all sorts of things. And I really worry. I would be upset if the Democrats did it, and was when they did it a long time ago. But I think we're getting to a point where Raleigh is turning into Washington. That's the worst possible direction we can go.
The Washingtonization of state government. John, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
Well, actually, I think I did a perfect job on last week's show, and I really wouldn't add anything
so I can move on.
to what I said. But I mean, since you're twisting my arm, I would agree with Chris about the process. You know, some of the ideas that came up in the session about the election of judges and the structure of the judicial system, elections administration, appointments to various offices, and some of those things I have advocated for many years. I think they're a good idea. I think that would have been better, though, to do them as part of a package, maybe combining with some things that require a constitutional amendment, some things that don't. Talk it through, think about how all the pieces fit together. That's not something you're going to do in a special session. It's something you would need to do with committees.
And vet them.
And vet them,
yeah.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that in very few instances of what took place there, was there that much time urgency or reason why it couldn't have happened?
That's true, though. It is, in fairness, it's not as if these ideas came from nowhere. Many, not all of them, but many of them have already been proposed before. They've been discussed before, so they're not brand new.
But in 3 weeks, they're coming back into town.
But I agree. It would have been better to do it in a lengthy conversation about the separation and balance of powers in state government.
Yeah. Howard Lee, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
I'm spending a lot of my time thinking about early childhood education, and I'm really concerned that both when Democrats were leaving office and the Republicans were taking over, they all started to divert the lottery funds for purposes away from the early childhood focus. And I hope that we can get our heads screwed back on right and focus that money back on preschool. We have more than enough money coming in through lottery proceeds to underwrite putting a large number of young kids into early childhood education. $300 million would certainly make a big dent. And that's the only way we're ever going to get to a point where we can seriously think about how we're going to close the achievement gap.
And you've been advocating this for years, saying that getting these kids a good first start
absolutely
has a lot to do with getting them to successfully complete their
absolutely. And I wrote an op-ed piece a few weeks ago, so if anybody'd like to have all the statistics, they're in that
I think
op-ed
we
piece.
published it on our website, if
I
I'm
believe
not
you
mistaken.
did. Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.